Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Blind Boys Politics. And Chris, why don't you give us some weather to start us off today?
It's Monday morning in Los Angeles. It's partly cloudy 77. Houston, Texas, cloudy 43. Chicago, Illinois, partly cloudy 30. New York City, cloudy 42.
Now, the one thing I'd like to point out here that really kind of caught my attention is the fact that it's only 1 degree warmer in Houston than it is in New York City.
That whole degree can make a big difference.
Well, you just wouldn't expect it to be the same temperature in Houston right now as New York City, just because
You also wouldn't expect last Monday for it to be warmer in Houston than it was Los Angeles.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. I don't know.
How are you doing today?
Um, how am I doing? It's been a pretty quiet day, to be honest. I accidentally fell asleep, so I didn't know if I was even going to be awake for this.
If not, you
um,
had had me and everyone would have been more happy, but I had to wake
wow.
them up.
No, he didn't wake me up, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up probably about 10 minutes before he texted me. But
Mm-hmm.
no,
You're lying, Nick. You're lying.
I'm not though. I'm not.
I broke into your house. I had a frying pan, a wooden spoon, and I started singing songs right by your head with both of them.
Oh, I don't know what's more sad, the fact that you came up with that, or the fact that I believe that you would do that.
Oh, I would so do that to you.
Only to me though.
I would only do it as payback.
For what?
Like if you woke me up in the middle of the night
Oh,
and I had to be up early the next day, I would wake you up early in the morning when I had to get up.
I was about to say though. I was like, what do you mean you do that as payback? What did I do now?
Like, that would be the only payback I would do it for.
Right.
Or I would dump water on you.
Yeah, I can see you doing that too. I can see you getting inventive though. And I don't know if that scares me more or not.
At a skylight while you're sleeping right above your head.
Oh my god. That
But I
would
would
be
only
you
do
though.
that if you woke me up in the middle of the night.
Right. So in
If
other words, I
if
just
you
have to just be quiet.
if you didn't wake me up in the middle of the night, I wouldn't do it. I
Right.
would let you peacefully sleep.
Sometimes.
And I wouldn't care if you went to bed 2 hours ago. That would make it even more worth it.
Oh my god. No, but
But
how are you doing, Chris? Since
it's
you asked
Monday.
me.
Do I need to say more?
Yeah. Yeah. Mondays are never a joyous occasion, to be honest.
You know what's not? You know what also isn't joyous?
What's that?
COVID-19.
You are not wrong. No doubt about that.
We hit a record high on Thursday. 4,000 people passed away from COVID-19, and 140,000 more people were unemployed.
Yeah, and with all of this still kind of going in a downhill spiral. President-elect Joe Biden says that when he takes office, he wants to release all of the COVID-19 vaccines at once rather than holding the supply back and, just kind of slowly trickling it out. He wants to spread it out across the country immediately.
And then the new COVID variant that's coming from the UK, everyone's calling it the UK COVID-19. That is kind of running rapid through the United States right now. In New York, there is 5 confirmed cases of it, Connecticut 2, Pennsylvania 1, Georgia 1, Florida 22, Colorado 2, and California 5.
You know, We knew that it was just kind of a matter of time before it made it here. It just seems that with everything that happened with the original strand of it, it would make its way here one way or another, especially with the fact that travel wasn't shut down from the UK to the US. And we can see from what you just read there, Chris, that it spread across the entirety of the country from north to south, east to west. There are states all over the country that have cases of it now. It's crazy how this stuff can spread.
And of course, we'll be monitoring that situation, and if anything breaking comes of that, we'll sure to let you know Friday. But some more unfortunate news that we have to update you on is what happened Wednesday. The Capitol being broken into. Since Wednesday, 20 Trump administration members have resigned. We are learning more about the officer that died. He was 42 years old. His name was Brian Sicking, and he served in Iraq.
Richard Bennett, who was the person photographed sitting in Nancy Pelosi's desk and stealing papers, he was arrested. Uh, there was a West Virginia lawmaker who was arrested for participating in the events, and he has resigned from his position. There's still threats going on social media of around two of the violence. People have been quoted as saying round two, January 20th, Trump will get a second term, and this time, no mercy.
One man was found near the Capitol Wednesday having 11 Molotov cocktails, and there has been a lot of conspiracy theories saying that it was Antifa dressed as Trump supporters, and just a bunch of different conspiracy theories going around. And the Department of Justice said Friday that it was not Antifa.
Well, that's all we have on that situation. We'll update you further if there is anything else that comes out. But in the meantime, we move to the last act of the 116th Congress. They overturned a veto from President Trump for the first time since his term began. So essentially, that means that the bill that he vetoed, which was the NDAA, will go into effect despite the fact that he did not support it. This means that the the bases with the Confederate names have 3 years to change those names.
We have some more information from the IRS regarding your stimulus. The Get My Payment portal will tell you the following information: your first stimulus, your second stimulus, if they were sent, along with how many were sent, whether it was mail or direct deposit. The frequently asked questions was also updated with a ton of new information.
If you wanted your payment now, you would have had to file your 2019 taxes, or if you don't have a tax obligation, you would have had to register and with the non-filer portal before it closed back in November. If you didn't do either of these things, you're going to have to wait for your 2020 taxes. And even if you don't have a tax obligation, you're still going to have to fill out specific paperwork. Just a little note, if your address has changed, there is no way to electronically change it. You either have to call the IRS or fill out the specific form in order to do so. If your bank information has changed, the IRS will send you a paper copy.
Starting the end of last week, the IRS started sending out $8 million Debit cards, the IRS says if you weren't one of the millions of people that received a direct deposit, you possibly could be one of the 8 million people that will receive a debit card. It's the EIP cards or the Economic Impact Payment cards. It's a Visa debit card with your stimulus balance already preloaded on it. Um, but when you get it in the mail, make sure on the back it says Meta Bank. The Treasury Department says it is a secured card, so you can use it like any other card.
So they say that you can draw the money from any ATM. There will be no fees involved as long as you get the money from an in-network ATM. When it comes in the mail, it will have the Department of Treasury seal on the front. The card will also come with a letter of instructions, basically how to activate it. If you want more information, you can visit either eipcard.com or irs.gov.
So, two main takeaways from this, because I'm sure there's going to be some sort of scams going around. Make sure on the back of the card it says Meta Bank and it has the Treasury seal on the envelope when you get it.
But that is all for now about that. Our next topic is the fast track impeachment that's been talked about for the past few days. It may not be fast enough to happen before Inauguration Day. And the reason why mainly is because of just the calendar and the Senate. So you've probably heard by now that multiple House members are planning to introduce articles of impeachment today. They are accusing him of Article 1, which is incitement of insurrection. This, of course, comes from his efforts on Wednesday with the attack on Capitol Hill.
House Speaker and the committee chairs and other ranks and file representatives want to fast track this process. This could, I emphasize on the could, go to vote as soon as this week. Like everything else, the House and the Senate, they need to be involved. They need to be, you can't have one side do it, both sides have to be involved. And Senate leadership just put out a memo saying that they won't be back until January 19th. With all the protocols and the trials that would need to happen, the quickest anything could happen is early January 20th, but more likely the 21st. But keep in mind, Inauguration Day, that's going to be more of a priority than the impeachment. Nancy Pelosi, in a letter to her colleagues, said that she spoke to Mark Milley to discuss available preventions for preventing an unstable president from accessing the launch codes and ordering a nuclear strike. That's what she said to her fellow colleagues in the memo, and that's where it's at right now. The White House is arguing that this could just further divide the country if they go with the impeachment, but this is a very active situation. I'm sure there will be updates for you Friday, and we'll sure to let you know.
And just a bit more talk relating to the subject, we get into the situation surrounding the 25th Amendment. Vice President Mike Pence has said that he's not going to commit to using the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump from office at this time. He wants to keep the option open if needed. But again, there are no plans of using it as of now.
We have a little update for you from the Christmas morning bombings in Nashville, Tennessee. The suicide bomber believed in lizard people, 9/11 conspiracies, aliens attacking Earth since 2011, and the fake moon landing conspiracy theory.
So one last little piece of information for you is that President Trump has announced that he is not going to be attending the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden on January 20th, and President-elect Biden did have a response to it, so we'll play that right here.
I was told that on the way up here, way over here, that he indicated he wasn't going to show up at the inauguration. One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up.
After that, he did state that Vice President Mike Pence was more than welcome to the inauguration. That's all we have for that. Nick, are you ready to get into some rapid news?
I am always ready to get into some rapid news. So, we start with President Trump has now been banned from such social media apps like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, MySpace, and Spotify.
Google and Apple have banned Parler, a popular conservative app, over the weekend.
Well, that is all we have for rapid news today. So now we move into good news.
My favorite segment. So Nick, you're getting good at finding some good news stories. That seems like your wheelhouse right now.
Well,
wow me.
I mean, you had your hand in this one for sure. But we do have a good story for you today. And that is that Congressman Andy Kim, he had been in a separate building when the attack on the Capitol building had begun. And he wasn't there for any of it. So when he went to go join when he finally left his office and left the building he was in after it all had ended, he got into the Capitol building and got into the rotunda and found it, just destroyed, papers everywhere, water bottles, body armor, Trump flags, just all over the floor. He said it kind of looked like just a cluttered parking lot, trash strewn parking lot. And it was his favorite room in the whole Capitol building. So he just kind of started cleaning it by himself. And he ended up cleaning up. He filled 6 trash bags in that room alone. And then after he did all that, he started moving to other rooms throughout the building and cleaning up. And eventually joined the debate over the Pennsylvania votes. And, that didn't finish up till about 3 in the morning. All said and done, he was up for 36 hours, and he spent a lot of that, he spent a ton of time cleaning up all the debris that was strewn throughout the building.
I like this story because, he didn't have to do that. The maintenance and janitors would have cleaned it up. But for a congressman to take time out of his day, be up 36 hours to help clean up the Capitol, that does send a big message from whatever viewpoint you look at it from.
Yeah, and it shows that he truly cares about the Capitol building. He cares about, the history and the meaning behind these different rooms in this building as a whole. So it just kind of has a bright little, shining spark beneath all of the darkness that came from that day.
If you guys haven't seen the photograph of him doing this, I recommend you looking it up. It's a really good picture, and just from the picture, pictures are worth more than 1,000 words. Sometimes, in this picture definitely does show that. But that is the end of this Monday morning episode. We'll be back here Wednesday morning for Dumb Laws. Don't forget, tomorrow morning we'll have our article on Medium about the Georgia runoff election. But until then, make sure you follow us on all social medias. The link is down in the show notes. Until Wednesday morning. See you guys.
All right, see ya.